Hi, hello, my name is Poppy, and I am here to talk to you about, um, well, as the title says, how the left kind of ruined my life. Um, so I want to start by saying that I still consider myself a leftist, even though most people will say that I'm a centrist or a right-wing person because of my views about families and I don't know how I disagree with trans people and shit. I don't know. But I do have a lot of leftist values. Believe it or not. Um, I will start saying that um, I do think that the radical left preys on more weak and how do traumatized people. Um, and I am a very good example. In my opinion, I am a very good example for that. For example, um, I was a pretty positive person in general, and unfortunately, I had some unfortunate events in my life. Um, for example, I was sort of he tried my ex, like my first boyfriend, tried to groom me. Fortunately enough, I'm not very groomable. Unfortunately for him, unfortunately for me, um, because I'm a very stubborn person. Um, but I'm also very gullible and I'm very easily manipulated. So he could easily manipulate me, but he couldn't actually groom me into being his little obedient girlfriend. And I think that's why he broke up with me. And he was shocked to see that when he broke up with me, after a few months, he begged me to come back to him. And he was pretty much shocked when I was like, no. um, that was that. I have been used by men for revenge, not once, but twice. When they were like being super nice to me and how do I say this? Like extremely flirtatious and love bombing and stuff like that, which I do think it exists, but I think people kind of use it in the wrong way. But yeah, so after they slept with me, they completely disappeared. One of the guys cheated on his girlfriend with me. I did not know they weren't broken up. I was under the impression that he was single as fuck. That was not true. I told her, well, not me, my best friend told her that he slept with me and he was crashing out on me that I told her because in his words, I ruined their relationship. That was that. The other guy, his ex-girlfriend left him for my ex-boyfriend, and he wanted to take revenge on them by sleeping with me, and I kind of was in the same headset, but I didn't want to sleep with him. We did end up sleeping, and that was that. I like I did not have the best choices with men, and they used to be very like manipulative with me, and I was ghosted. I have no idea why. And I do think I attract a certain kind of like men, and I'm trying I'm trying to be more selective. I did have a boyfriend I dated with who would say stuff like, his friends might be watching this, and I wonder if they will know that it was him. But he was saying stuff like, "You're going to fuck the whole office if you work from the office," and stuff like that. I had a very unfortunate choice of men, and some of them, not all of them, but some of them also abused me in more intimate ways. And it is unfortunate. I don't see it as trauma anymore. I'm not a victim of them anymore. It's just my past. I don't want pity. That's not why I'm saying this. Why I'm saying this is back then I was very traumatized. I didn't trust men. I was in a place where I was very vulnerable. And even a person who I thought will never like betray me or hurt me, and I'm still talking to this person till to this day, did some stuff physically to me that I felt violated, and I will explain later on why it was unfortunate, but it wasn't as bad as some left people want to make it seem like. Okay. So now from the past with men, I will move to explain why I think the left is preying on the vulnerable. Well, the more radical people. I'm not saying all the left people are like this, but I think a very big majority of the left, or the like, the loudest people are like this, and I don't know if it's a loud minority at this point or it's just a big majority of them. I don't know, because I rarely see leftists who will be agreeing with what I'm saying. To my point. So when I was around 25, 26, I started to watch TikTok. I refused at first, because I was like, oh, that's for children. Eventually, I did see that there are different content there, and I'm still there because there's still like content I do love, and like the funny shorts and stuff like that, because like it can be very funny, and I mean it has its bright side, but TikTok also has a very dark side. For example, the whole area of the man or a bear, bear or man, that thing, it did resonate with me because I didn't trust men at the time. But I've seen people abuse it and make it like a movement against men. And I was under the impression that most men were predatory, which is not true. I've seen on TikTok, I don't have any clips right now because like it was years ago, it was over 2 years ago, of women saying that men are very predatory and fucking back. That men will always abuse and you cannot trust men. If you see a man on an alleyway, like not on an alleyway, but like a man walking behind you, he probably has some ill intent. Like everything, every scenario that included the man, women would talk like there will be the worst case scenario, and there is no scenario that the man is just there existing. And eventually I started to believe, because, well, I only had mostly negative experience with men in my family and outside of my family in general. I will not go into details about my family, but most of my experience with men were pretty negative. And I started to believe that all men were like this. And I completely stopped seeing all the good men in my life, and I only saw the bad things that happened to me. And that's what the left does. It brainwashes vulnerable people, mainly women in my opinion, to hate men, to hate femininity, to hate being in love. And they teach people if they're not with us, they're against us. And the ironic part is there were men who were in this movement, and those men were like, they were preying on the woman there. And I've seen a lot of men who are like, oh, I'm a feminist, oh, don't hurt women, blah blah blah, and then like there are allegations against them that they're predators. And that was fucking Destin is one of them, I think. Like he was a huge feminist and bullshit like that, and then bam, he's a fucking jackass. Who knew? Sorry. So I saw a lot of videos of women talking about how all men are bad, all men are this, all men are that, there are no good men, that you should always be wary of men, that if you're in a room with a man, he probably will rape you and kill you. Unhinged shit. And I believe that, because I like I said, I only focused on the negatives that I had with men. And I kinda it did ruin my life, because I started to move away from men, move away from society in general, because everyone around you is bad, and you're according to them, you're a poor little lamb, and you deserve everything, and you shouldn't work for anything. And that's what the radical left is teaching nowadays, that the world needs to be like equal. You don't need to work hard anymore. You need everything handed to you on a fucking golden plate, which is a very bad lesson, and it shouldn't be like this. And I think people need hardships in their lives to grow as people. They need to learn, they need to know how to handle hard stuff. You see a lot of women struggling, a lot of men struggling, because they're never been taught that you need character, you need to learn, you need to how do I explain this? I see a lot of entitlement, because people think that everyone owes them everything and they shouldn't work hard for their stuff. And I was the same. I had the same mentality, and it is very, very toxic. And at some point I stopped trying, and I thought like, well, I'm a woman. You need to treat me with respect. And I let myself go because I was taught that, well, they need to love me the way I am, and I shouldn't even work on myself at all. And they do teach you that you shouldn't work on yourself, you shouldn't work hard, you just people need to accept you for who you are, which is a load of crap. You do need to work on yourself, you need to be better, you need to be stronger, to be smarter. You don't need to sit and wait for stuff to be brought to you on a fucking golden plate. That will never happen. Unless you're like, I don't know, in a rich family, then, well, you had an easy start, good job. But most of us, we need to work hard, otherwise nothing will be given to us. That's not how the world works, but that's what the left tries to convince people, that you deserve everything by doing nothing. And I believed them. So I didn't try anything. I let myself go. I got to a point where I weigh over 200 pounds, over 100 kilograms, and I'm trying very hard. I still didn't go under 200, but I lost a lot. I can check. I lost like 10 kilos in the past few months, and I'm struggling with it. Yeah, so it took me a few months to lose 22 pounds, which isn't a lot, but progress. So how did it affect my relationship with my ex-boyfriend? So I was living with my ex-boyfriend for like 3 years or 2 years, and like things were pretty good. We were getting along. We didn't have any fights. We had the same mindset. But at the end of the day, like, the love kind of dwindled down. But the left made me think like he is the worst person alive. Because he told me to be better and stop being fat, and he did some physical things that I didn't like. He didn't do them forcefully. He tried to do it gradually. But with how the left made it seem, is like he's the biggest monster ever. And that was, thankfully, that was after we broke up, because I did broke up with him because the love did dwindle down, and I understood that I want something else in my life and he wants something else. So he didn't do anything wrong, but by the left standards, he's a fucking monster. Moving on to another part that the left did and still does. They fearmonger women, and they fearmonger a lot. I don't know if the right does that. I have no fucking idea. I never liked the right, because I never liked religious people, which I will talk about in a minute. So, at some point, 2 years ago, I was ready to cut off my fucking uterus, because I thought that I never want to be a mother, because children are a parasite. That's what the left teaches, that children are horrible, should never have children. It's being a mother is horrible, and stuff like that. Literally what the left teaches you. It's fucking horrible. So at some point I was like, okay, yeah, I want to cut off my uterus. Thankfully, that also changed completely. Thank fuck. I do want to be a mother now. I'm not sure if I will be able to because of health complications. But if I'm not gonna be having my own child, adoption is always an option. I do want my own children. Like, I want to be pregnant. I'm not sure if that's possible. Not because of my age, but more of health complications. With that being said, I had another thing I wanted to talk about, but I forgot what it was. Yes, right. So why did I change my mind about all of these things? And it's pretty simple. October 7th, ironically enough, opened my eyes on what the left really is, and that they're not allies, and they will backstab you and let you like rot and die if you slightly disagree with their opinion. And by that, I mean, no one on the left was on our side when October 7th happened. After the terrorist attack, I've seen some people defend Israel a little bit, and then shit went to hell. People who don't understand nuance were pro-Palestine and didn't see that everything happened for a reason. And I tried to talk to people, I tried to explain to them why and how, and I tried to have a civil conversation with people, but people don't want to hear a different opinion. People want everyone to follow the same thing. So whenever everyone dogpiled on Israel, it became very popular. Until this day, the anti-Semitism is going wild. And people continue to say that, oh, we're only against Israel, the government sucks, blah, 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 we hate Zionism, blah, blah, blah. But last week, or was it was last week, the shooting in Sydney and the people who murdered the Jews in America multiple times, the person who tried to fucking flamethrower Jews in America, and there are multiple protests, violent protests against Jews in Europe. I've seen a ship being held from entering Greece because there were Jews there. The whole shit is wild. And the biggest problem I have with everything that is happening is the rape deniers. People who deny that there are that women were raped on October 7th. And recently, even what was it? The UN. One moment. The UN admitted that there were rapes on October 7th, but people still deny it. That was the breaking point where they didn't believe there were women bodies with mutilated reproductive organs on trucks um not trucks, on like on the vehicles. I need to drink. It is almost 3 a.m. and here I am yapping about this bullshit. So, as I was saying, there were mutilated bodies, and they were clearly bloodied in places where it is obvious something happened to those bodies. Multiple Israeli women who were hostages talked about how they were sexually abused, and yet there were denims who was like, oh, rape never happened. And she used a clip of a woman talking about another woman's experience, and then denims were like, see, she didn't see it happen, she only claims it happened. And then 5 seconds after, there was a woman who did have it happen to her talking about it, but denims decided to skip that video. Excuse me. So I realized that that the left was never on the right side. The left only virtue signals, and they only want to be seen as the good guys. They don't care. They don't really care about the innocent lives. I have never seen like a leftist actually condemn Hamas or says, well, like, and or understands that Zionism at the end of the day is just a belief that Israel, the Jews are like deserve a homeland, and that Israel is their homeland. And instead they think that Zionism is some kind of a slur that you can call a Jew in order to kill them. It's like calling someone a Nazi. Like they call people Nazis, like my post about Trev. And like I think it was Blair White who said it, that they'll call people like Nazis so they can, you know, off them. And I do believe that, because I mean, look at what happened with Charlie Kirk. So the left has become radical, has become extreme, and I never liked the right. I always had left values. I thought the right was very how do I call it, pushing, very, they didn't let people live the way they want. They judged people like me who just wanted to live their life peacefully, and the right would be like, well, you don't believe in God, you don't believe in a religion, you're not religious, you don't have any morals. But I do have morals. I don't need religion to have morals. I am like, you can't be a decent person without being religious. I have very similar morals like a religious person. I want a family, I want kids, I want to have a husband who cares and like loves me, and I want to love him back and take care of him. Like that is not leftist values, not anymore. It was like that before. Like you would fall in love, you would get a family. That was the values I grew up with, and now I see posts saying that a woman shouldn't like stride. Is that how the word is? That the woman shouldn't want to be a wife. And my question is, why not? Why is being a wife, why is loving a man become such a bad thing? The left have become such a weird thing. Like, you ignore woman's comfort just to make a man happy, and then on the other side you don't want a woman to marry a man because men are bad. Like, choose one. And when I'm saying, the first example I gave is trans women. Trans women are men at the end of the day, and you completely ignore the comfort of women to make a man who thinks he's a woman more comfortable. Make it make sense, and then you go around and hate men. How is trans woman better than a man? They still have the same mindset at the end of the day. The only thing is that like, trans women are mentally ill who think they're women. The left is weird now, and they're pushing people, normal people who have common sense, like me. They're pushing us away, and I it's sad to see. My heart broke into million pieces when my favorite TikTokers, like there was that one bitch who made like very beautiful skits. I forgot her name. She was I don't know what she was. She was like very beautiful woman, and she was like speaking against Israel, and she didn't understand the nuance of the situation. And there were so many so many big TikTokers who were like, I'm standing with with Palestine, like I'm pro-Palestine, Israel like are monsters, and they didn't understand the nuance, and whenever people learn that I'm from Israel, like they're immediately like, oh, you're a genocider, you support genocide, you live in Israel, you commit genocide. The left has become so freaking radical, and I've only noticed it after October 7th, unfortunately. And I've been yapping for 33 minutes over nothing. So, TLDR, left is crazy, and they're pushing normal people to the right. And as Asmongold did say, their days are numbered, not because someone is going to be violent against them, but because those people are losing support, and they might go to jail for grooming kids, for all the sexual thing that is all the sexual identity and stuff like that. With all the trans people, they're going to jail, and I'm here for it. I hope to see people like that pay for what they've done, and I truly hope that schools will stop teaching those shit to kids, because it does happen in schools a lot. I hate all of it, and I said in a previous video, I've always hated seeing people groom children. That opinion will never change. that view will never change. I hated it when I saw religious people do it, and I hate it now when I see trans people do it. I'm not backing out on that one. And that's also one thing that that pissed me off. I was supportive of trans people. I loved Blair White. I loved Samantha Lux, and those were the biggest trans people I knew about. But then Dylan Mulvaney became popular with his day one of being a girl. First of all, bitch, you're not a girl, you're a woman. Why are you making such a stupid title? And second of all, his videos of day XYZ of being a girl were very, very caricature stereotypes of women. It was very misogynistic. It was very sexist. It was very, like, disgusting how he acted. I don't believe he's trans. I think he's just playing a character. And then there was this non-binary freak who was like, I want to talk to the kids. And then he's like made a bunch of videos trying to address kids. And I couldn't find the video. I was trying to find it, but I am like 89% sure I've seen a video of him talking about him having a Patreon for kids so they can talk to him like privately. I might making this shit up. I remember seeing something like that. I don't take my word for it. But making a video saying let's talk to the kid, I want to talk to the kids, is creepy enough, and you shouldn't talk to any kids whatsoever, you fucking grooming piece of shit. I've seen videos of it was a picture, I saw it on X, I couldn't find it again, of a trans person in women's bathrooms, and they had their top on but they took off their pants, leaving like their dick hanging, and there was a woman behind them. I couldn't find the fucking picture. And the most disturbing individual I've ever seen, and I will always hate no matter what, is our precious Lily Tino. He is disgusting in so many levels. So first of all, the videos and the pictures in women's bathrooms, him talking about genitalia in Disney World and Disneyland or whatever, where it's a place made for children. Him making the video about his frosting with another trans person, that was very, very disturbing. And most importantly, the leaked videos of Lily Tino talking to a minor about liking melons, and they knew that their parent was there, and they used hidden language to talk about what kind of melons you like. if you catch my drift. That was highly disturbing. And people always say like, oh, Poppy, oh, Fia, you're so obsessed with trans people. Yeah, I am obsessed with trans people because trans people are obsessed with children. And they are obsessed with women. And would you look at that? I am a woman and I want to protect children, and I always wanted to protect children from grooming pieces of shit, if it's religious, if it's trans. I don't give a fuck. So that's why I'm so vocal about it, and I will never stop being vocal about it. No matter how you say that I'm fucking obsessed with it, I don't fucking care. So I think that's all I had to say. I probably have something else to say as well, but it's been 41 minutes of me yapping about bullshit. So at the end of the day, I hope I articulated my views the way I wanted. I don't think so, but maybe I'm trying my best to learn. I promise you, I'm smarter when I speak Hebrew. With that being said, thank you for watching. If you did reach to this point, I appreciate you a lot and I love you. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please subscribe. And I hope to see you next time. And I hope that the world will heal and that the left will calm the fuck down and that we will see more happy people instead of what the fuck is going right now. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye. My mouse died. Bye.